G'day folks, today we're going to show you how to tune your own piano. What we have in front of us here is my 1965 Ivers Pond console piano. Just started the tuning process, but I figured it's actually worth showing it on video. So this is a more detailed video than some of the previous ones we've shown. So we're going to have quite a bit of commentary here, but when we're doing the actual tuning procedure, when we're tuning the notes, I won't be saying anything. I'm going to be pretty much silent during the actual tuning. So you guys will just hear the notes being tuned. And after the note is tuned, then I will have some commentary. So right now we're currently on our A3 because our E4, A4, and D4 have already been tuned. Right now, we are currently in the process of setting our temperament. Here we are tuning in equal temperament. Now, if you want to know what the difference is between equal and unequal temperament is where certain chords will sound good together, but the rest won't. While if you tune in equal temperament, all the chords are going to sound good when they're played. Now, some pianos do sound better in unequal temperament, but us tuners and technicians have our opinions, just our opinions. I personally don't care how a piano is tuned, just as long as it sounds good in general. And in my case, I like equal temperament tuning. So let's go ahead and tune our A3. Now, the way we're going to be tuning our A3, we're going to be tuning it to our 4th and our 5th. So we're going to go ahead and check it with the 4th first. That sounds pretty good to me. That sounds good. So now we're going to go ahead and tune our middle string here to match the left. I'm sure you guys can hear that's pretty flat. So now what you guys are going to hear, since the 3rd string is out of tune, while the middle and left strings are in tune, you are going to hear what's called a beat. And the beat is the number of waves per second the note makes when the strings crest and trough. So that's how a sound wave works. So let's take a listen here, and you guys tell me in the comments section if you think this is out of tune. If you guys thought that's out of tune, you're right. That's pretty out of tune. So let's go ahead and fix that so that beat vanishes. All right, I don't know if you guys heard that, but we are low. So now what we noticed here, our 4th, our 5th doesn't sound quite right now. It sounded good in the beginning because the left string is obviously in tune, but if you guys can't hear the difference, here's the difference. That's the difference. So let's go ahead and fix that. Let's go ahead and fix our 3rd string now. So if you guys are wondering, what's that loud blow for? that loud blow is to set the strings. That's another very important part when you're tuning a piano, is you want to make sure that you set the strings and set the pins. So that's why you saw me bumping the pin a little bit to set it. And then the loud blow that you heard right at the end there, that equalizes the tension of the strings. So if the strings do start warbling again or beating, then you know the tension has set itself. And the string then needs to be readjusted if it goes out of tune again. So now that our A3 is tuned, we're going to go ahead and move down to our G4, because that's usually the next note we set when we're tuning our temperament, or setting our temperament, excuse me. So if you guys are listening carefully, and for those of you that really know your stuff, you might notice, if you guys listen very carefully, so let's listen again. Do you guys hear that? Because I sure did. That is our intervals. Now, intervals are the different parts of the note that will beat with one another when you are setting your pitch. So in this case, because we're tuning an equal temperament, our intervals will have certain beat rates, which in this case, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push the G without playing it, and I'm going to go ahead and play the D6. Now, you guys might not have heard that, but the D6 is pretty out of tune because we didn't get to the treble yet. But what we can do, we can play our D5. Do you guys hear that? That is the third harmonic of G3. So now when we are tuning our fourths and our fifths, as I had mentioned before, there are what's called intervals. And those intervals be at specific rates to allow for a pleasant sound. So now in this case, the interval I was listening to is the D6, which is the sixth harmonic of G, but the fourth harmonic of D4. So when I play those two notes together, the D4 and the G3, I hear how many times that G6 beats. And for this one, for your perfect fifth, you want it at about 5 to 6 beats per second on your D6 interval. Now, if you guys want to know the frequency, I'm going to read it off to you here. 196.0 hertz. So now we're going to go ahead and tune our right string here, because this is the second to last two-string unison, or known as a bichord, before our trichords begin. Let's take a listen. You guys tell me if that's out of tune. You guys think that's out of tune? Let me know what you think down in the comments section if that G3 is out of tune. Let's tune it. Ooh, that didn't sound good. So our next note that we're going to be tuning is our middle C. Now, with the way the string setup is, for middle C and a few other notes, which you will see in the video, I have to set my mute up in between the middle and left strings. So for my middle C, I tune the right string first. So let's go ahead and tune that up to our G4, or G3, excuse me. Now, I'm not sure if you guys heard that or not, but the G5 interval, which is your third harmonic of C3, well, C4, that's your third subharmonic of C4. So now I'm going to go ahead and play that for you. So what happened there is the string, the right string for C4, was vibrating at the G5 frequency because G5, like I said, is the third subharmonic of middle C. Now I'm going to go ahead and check that with my G3. That sounds perfect. So now we're going to go ahead and tune our middle string again. Now, you guys might not have heard that, but in case you did hear that click, that is the pin setting. So what we did there is we set the pin, and after we set the pin, we made sure to give the blows. Now, what you do when you give the blow to equalize the tension on the strings, you want to do that each time after you make a tuning pin adjustment when you're tuning the other strings. Now, that's very important because that is going to help stabilize the tuning. So instead of the tuning going all over the place, it's going to stay stable because all the tensions have been equalized out. I'm going to try to angle you guys up a little bit higher so you can see the movements that I make when I'm tuning the piano. So now if you're unsure whether or not your note is tuned beatless, there's one or two ways you can check that. You can mute off the individual strings. So in this case, let's say I wanted to mute off the right string and check with my tuning device. That's showing in tune. But if you are tuning by ear, which I always do, I just have the tuning device on hand for those of you that are beginners and are learning how to tune a piano. And this is also for a recreational purpose. Sometimes us ear tuners, sometimes we have our tuning devices on hand to allow us to show. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys here what our frequency is. So usually once we hit the green, that means we're good. So I'm going to set you guys back up here. And let's keep going. So now that our C4 is tuned, but before we go ahead and finish off here, I'm going to show you guys how I double check if a string is beatless with the other. So we're going to tune down. It's quite obvious that's out of tune. We're going to slowly bring her back up. Now we're a little over. or under. So, quick little reminder for you guys. If you guys are either beginners or experts, please feel free to share your feedback in the comments section, because I try to reply to all the comments I see. Now, one quick little reminder. When you guys are tuning a piano, make sure that whichever string you are tuning is unmuted. Because there are times where piano technicians, where piano tuners might accidentally tune a muted string, and if they're wondering why there's no change, and next thing they know, they hear a snap, that means they broke a string because they were tuning a muted string and not an unmuted one. So one way we can check for that, so we're going to go ahead and tune our B4 now. And then after that, I'm going to be quiet as I finish setting the temperament. And I'm just going to let you guys listen as I go through and set my temperament. So as you guys can see, I am set up to tune the B4 or the B3 now. That's this note right here. So here's a scenario where a tuner, let's say the tuner is used to tuning left, middle, right. Now, if you know your piano really well, you should know the string gaps so you know which string to tune first. Now, what you guys see here is wrong. Now, I'm not going to touch it or anything because I obviously know which string is unmuted. But for the beginner, let's say they were tuning the left string like usual, but their mute is set up for the middle and left strings to be muted. Now here, that's where you want to double check. So what you do is you take your tuning hammer and you play the note. So you guys heard that mute. That's our rightmost string that needs to be tuned. So let's go ahead and tune our B3 to our E4. Now this one sounds like it's pretty close, but because we're not 100% sure, let's go ahead and bring that B3 down a little bit. There you go. Hopefully you guys can hear that. We're pretty low. So let's go ahead and bring that up. Now, sometimes what helps too, if you hear like the other two strings are kind of audible, you can do this. Now, because that's pretty close, we're going to go ahead and call that good. But just to be on the safe side, I am going to look at my tuning machine and double check the frequency. Now, not all tuning machines are 100% accurate, but as long as you have it set to concert pitch, you should be golden. So now I'm going to go ahead and double check. That sounds a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my mute out. And now we're going to tune our middle string to match the right. So now that our B3 is good, we're going to go ahead and tune our F sharp 3. And now I'm going to be quiet so you guys can just hear this as we go. Oops, there you guys saw what just happened there. I accidentally got on the wrong note, thinking it was the right one. So it's always important to double check and check the neighboring notes to make sure you're on the right one. Because if you hear a beat on either of the neighboring notes, you know you're on the wrong one. So that's a mistake on my behalf there. So if you guys are wondering, why is that supposed to sound like that? Yes. When you're tuning an equal temperament, your minor thirds are going to be a little different than, let's say, your perfect fourth. So So a minor third is like your B flat to D flat. So you guys can hear that sounds pretty good. And I did verify that it's the correct pitch, so we're going to go ahead and tune our middle string here. Alright, so I don't know if you guys are hearing that in the video or not, but the local's making his way down. So you guys are going to hear him rumble past while we're working here. So don't mind that train, guys. It's just our friend bringing his train down. So we're going to take a quick break real here because I'm going to go get some water. So I'm going to go ahead and pause you guys here and we'll be back. All right, folks, we are back. Just went ahead and got myself some water because another important thing when you are tuning a piano is make sure you got a drink on hand. And also, maybe in between notes, maybe take a quick stretch. Give yourself a quick stretch to keep blood circulating because that is one of the most important parts when you're piano tuning. Make sure that you are keeping your blood circulating and also make sure you got a drink on hand so you can stay hydrated while you're working. Alright, so before we move on to the G sharp form, which is listen to the local. If you guys are wondering what the Binghamton Taylor local power is, it's 4929 and 4806. So now you might notice as we are tuning the piano, you might notice the notes falling flat. Now this usually does happen because as we're pulling the pitch up, usually if the piano falls like super flat, like below 15-20 cents flat, then you want to do a pitch raise. But because the piano is only about 10 cents flat since it was last tuned, really no need for a pitch pull. Let you guys listen to that for a second. And there goes the camera, just had a blooper. We'll try to edit that out. And if you guys do want to see the bloopers that happened during this production, we will have a bloopers playlist. It's going to be called Piano Tuners Bloopers. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that little freak show. So you guys may have noticed we did go about 2 cents flat, but it's not really enough for the average person to notice. So we're just going to leave it alone since that's reasonable within 5 cents. Up. Alright, there's another blooper, folks. Accidentally got the A4 a little bit there. Yep. So now after the B4 here, you'll notice as we get higher up, you guys will start to notice that the beats get faster, because even though they might be the same percentage low, because the simplest way that piano tuners refer to cents, as in how sharp or flat a note is, it's the same thing as a percentage. So 0 cents sharp or flat means it's perfectly in tune, and 100 cents sharps or 100% sharp or flat would be 100 cents, which in this case would be the next note up, which would be B5, or 100 cents flat, which would be A4. So that little reference there was for the B flat, but you guys know how it goes. So we're going to keep going. Now, I'm not sure if we're going to be doing the treble section on this video or not, but we are going to have a part 2. If I decide to keep this video a little bit shorter, this will be part 1, and the treble section will be in part 2. But haven't quite fully decided yet. Now, we are going to be tuning the bass on video, so you guys are going to see how the bass section is tuned. Now, you guys might remember another video I did on the Everett console piano, how long it took me to tune the bass section on that, which in that one, it took me under 11 minutes. So, we'll see how long it takes on this bass section here to get it done. So, let's go ahead and keep going. And let's keep going. Another word of advice for you guys. When you guys are tuning smaller pianos, especially consoles, make sure that your tuning mute does not go where the hammer strikes the strings, because then the hammer is going to get stuck and it won't go back to the resting position. So that's another important one there. I forgot to mention that before. Now, when we're further down, like toward near the start of the mid-range, it's not as much of an issue because you've got plenty of room to put your mute between strings and stuff like that. But once you get higher up, and you guys are going to notice that issue in the treble section. I'll show you guys that right now before we proceed to the bass. So we are just about done on the mid-range. We've got our F5 and our F-sharp 5 left to go. But as you guys can see up in the treble here, there's not as much room. So I'm going to show you an example here. So I'm going to go ahead and mute this off. Now watch when I go to play it. Now in this case we are fine, but if we were to stick it right down near the damper, apparently maybe it's not as bad, but you can see where the hammer is, you can see where it's rubbing. So that's pretty much where you want to set it. So figure I'd just show you guys that now, because you guys probably won't see that in part 2, because it'll be at the same angle for the remainder of this video. Now, just so you guys know, that is not from 2 strings. That is from the left string itself. If you guys are wondering what that's called, that is called a false beat, where the termination points are different from where they should be. And it makes it rather harder to tune it, especially if you're tuning the left and right strings to match the left. That false beat can make it a little difficult. So if you guys are not like me, where I can hear the regular beat over the false one, just do the best you can. Try to tune it to the false beat so it doesn't sound out of whack. And hopefully your customer will understand. Now, this is obviously my piano here at home, so I don't have to worry too much about it. But that's just a word of advice for you. If you have a harder time tuning the 2 strings so they are beatless when there's a false beat on one or more of the strings, then my best recommendation to you is tune it to as best as you can, even if you have to match the actual beat to the false one. So, little word of advice for you. So now we are on the last note in the mid-range section. A lot of people call it the tenor section, but I call it the mid-range. We are pretty much done up here in the mid-range. Just got our F-sharp 5 here. And after that, we're going to switch our camera angle because we're going to be working down in the bass section. Now, the bass section is really not that far off, but just to be on the safe side, we are going to pull them down and back up to make sure it's right. So stay tuned for that. No pun intended, but literally stay tuned for it, because that's going to happen within the next couple minutes here. Oh, there's another blooper right there. Accidentally forgot to mute the middle string with the right. I only muted the right. So now that we have finished tuning our mid-range section, looking at our timestamp here, it took us about, with the commentary, because this is an educational video. Now usually it only takes me about 30 to 45 minutes to tune the mid-range, but because this is an educational video, you know, teaching you guys how to do it and you guys being able to hear it as well, it took approximately 59 minutes. We are at 59 right now, so it's time for the bass section. Here we go. All right, folks, we are now in the bass section here. Now, my piano's bass section goes from E3 all the way down to A0, so we're going to start off with our E3, and we're going to tune it to our... Now, we are going to do this the same way as we did in the mid-range section. We're going to jump around a little bit as we go ahead and set everything. So, let's get started. Our E3 is tuned, so now I'm going to be quiet throughout the rest of this part of the video as well, because we don't want to put too much more time on the video, because we are going to do the treble in a part 2. So now you guys might notice something else here. If you look carefully, you might see that, in fact, I'll just show you guys real quick. So if you guys look carefully, you will see that we've got some, I don't think they're steel wound because they look more like copper wound, but you could tell that the copper appears, has a little bit more of a copper color. And further down it looks like steels. But I think that's just from natural corrosion, but I'm not 100% sure. So those of you that know what you're doing, or that know a bit more about the colors on the bass strings, please let me know in a comment. I'm looking forward to hearing about this. It's not a problem or anything, folks. It's just something out of curiosity. Now, I'm not sure if you guys noticed or not, but you may have noticed a little bit of deadness going on. And there is a way to fix that. So in an upcoming video, we'll show you how to fix that. For right now, it's not really a problem, so we're gonna keep going. Alright, so now that we are finished tuning the bichords, we are now on the monochords, which there's 16 of them. My bass section has 16 monochords and 16 bichords. So now we're on the single strings. So let's go ahead and tune up our singles. Alright, so I looked at my tuning machine and looks like we're a little bit flat on our E flat 2. And there we go. That concludes part 1 of how to tune your own piano, covering the mid-range and the bass section. It took 1 hour and 16 minutes to do. So we will see you in part 2 for the tuning procedure of the treble section. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to remix this video. If you want your own Pure piano notes, use any of the notes we just tuned. So, hope you enjoyed. If you find this video informational and useful, please leave a like on this video and comment down below what you thought. Next up, the treble section.